Okay.
Wait. Okay. Cool.
Auntie, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Just tell us what your name is, how old you are, and where you currently live.
And must I not tell you when when I was young, why?
No, just say, my name is I am so how old, and I live in and then we stop there. Okay, go.
My name is Latifa Omar. I'm staying in 28 Tennyson Street for 62 years. I'm 82 now. I got married when I was 20.
Okay, stop there. Okay, brilliant. Okay, Auntie Latifa.
Yeah.
Auntie Latifa, okay. Auntie Latifa, tell me, when was the first time that you picked up a needle and a thread? And who showed you how and what made you do that?
Well, the first time I picked up a needle, my mother was a dressmaker and my father was a tailor, and that is how we learned to pick up needles and cutting and do little things like dolls' dresses and, make something for yourself. That's what girls do when they're small, right?
Was that fine? Okay, yes, yeah. And out of your dad and your mom, you said your dad was a tailor and your mom was a dressmaker, did they encourage you to learn the trade? Was it assumed that you would do that? Or did you have other siblings?
So I had other siblings, but my mother never encouraged us. She just let us play and do things on our own. And if she did something, then she'll show you, this is how you do it.
Can you remember the first time you thought to yourself, I'm gonna do this and make money from this?
Well, I started working in the factory, and there is where we learned to sew machines and do cutting and see how patterns work. And actually I learned myself to do all those little things from copying off, And then that's where I tried to do something. But I was never encouraged to do it, you see. But then I thought one day, no man, I must now start doing this and make some money.
Tell me how you met your husband.
When we worked in the factory, the two of us together. And that's how we know one another. That's why we met one another, in the factory. Lunchtimes we used to talk and we walked together and so on. That's how I met him.
Was he good at what he does?
Yes, he was good at what he's done.
Tell me, that time, what year was it? What was Cape Town like when you started finding your way as a dressmaker? What was Cape Town like? What did you guys do for fun? What kind of clothes were you wearing? What was the fashion like then?
Yeah. You see, at that time, we didn't really think that we'll sew and I'll do all those things. Because you're young, you don't feel like doing all those things. You like going out, and my mother used to make the dresses. And that's how we were, like that. When we go out, my mother used to make us a dress, or my father was a tailor, he used to make us suits, like that time they wear straight skirts and little short jackets, and my father used to do that. And I used to enjoy it because I don't have to do it. It's only afterwards when you married and you have children, and then I only thought, now I must start making it. But I never had girls to make dresses for. But I love to make it. That's how I learned. Most of the dressmakers at that time, they learned in the factories. Because if you don't learn in the factory, you have to go to somebody to teach you. But in the factory, you learn everything. They put you all over, and you do this and you do that, and that's how you learn.
What was your favorite style of, for example, as an artist, when you look at things and you think, I look at that dress in the shop, but I can make it better, How did you get inspiration for your garments?
Now, when you used to go to the movies and you see the film star, what they wear, and then you want to do it, and then you want that style, you see? That's how you get inspiration from the movies, actually.
And do you remember your favorite movie that gave you your best inspiration? Your favorite? Do you have a favorite style that you used to make?
You know, I never had a favorite because we were watching other styles, is the new styles, and at those days they used to wear the like a stiffenings under the dresses, and the dresses had to be wide so that if you walk, the dress will, like, you know, go up like full flare skirts and little tops, like things like that we love. They used to love, and figure belts, you know, that they wear at that time. As the time goes, you follow the fashion. That's how it is.
When you left the factory, what made you leave the factory, and was it scary? Did you worry about how you're gonna make a living, or was it something you just were confident in doing?
No, when I left the factory because I had a baby, right? And then I didn't go back because then I had to look after the baby and so on. After having like 2 children, I thought to myself, no man, these children are keeping me busy. I got to do something else. So I went back to the factory after the second baby. And then new styles were coming out, and you learn more things, you know. That's how I started trying to make. I bought a machine, and then I tried to make my own little things, you see. But there are people teaching me. And then I went to work in another factory, and I worked with the designers, you see. And this one girl, she loved to ask me like questions. What color do you like? Or what do you think matches with this? And I used to give it, and she said, oh, that's good. Or even a button. Let's put a button on. What button do you think will go with that? And I'll tell her, take that one, man, you see. And that's how you get inspired, by doing different things and working with it.
Tell me about this designer. What did she look like? Was she a white girl?
She was a white girl, yeah. Oh, most of the designers were white at that time, you see. But the colored girls used to do the work. And they were good at it, you see. Like they are the bosses, and you've got to listen to them. And that's how we learn. Most of the people in the factories, they used to learn that way. You see, only now and then you get somebody that their parents may have a little bit of money, and then they take them to somebody to teach them like. But we never had that amount of money, so we had to just learn by looking at and copying them, you know.
Who taught your mom and your dad?
Well, I don't know that.
Don't know.
No. I was too small to learn it. When I grew up, I just saw them doing these things, you see.
Is it a normal thing back in those days in the Muslim homes to talk about with parents and children? Is it traditional to talk about how you learned your trade?
No, we never talked about that, man. Because they were natural people, man. Sisters, they could all sew, and this one make this and that one. When there was a wedding, then this auntie will make the wedding dress, and that auntie will make that, you see. That's how we learn. Because at that time people were poor. And then they just get together to do something nice, you know? Like for the children, the cousins and so on.
Now we're going to jump into you having your own shop. Okay, now it's that time now, you have your own shop, it's exciting. Tell me about the kind of customers that come to you. Where do you get the material? Do you shop for the material? Do you have a deal with the fabric world, or how does it work?
No. At that time you just look for cheap material because that's what you can afford. And on the parade in Cape Town, there was like little stalls and people were selling material, and then you've got to now take your own knowledge to think what material is suitable for this, or what material is suitable, and then you can go buy there. You see, that's all. And you get little shops that open, and then they got little pieces like offcuts material, and then you can buy that.
And once you have the material, when the customer comes, do they bring their own designs, or does mom make the designs?
No, some of them bring their own designs, and some of them got no knowledge of a design, and you've got to advise them and you know, give them some insight what is good for this and what will suit you. Not all people can know what they want. The first thing they want is, or they see a picture, they want that on the picture, but now that picture, certain material you can only make of that. You see, you can't just take any material. Now you've got to see if you got that material, if you can get it for the customer and make it.
And then how did Ma make the patterns and everything? What was your specific talent?
Now, I used to buy a German book, man, the Burda. They call it the Burda. And in the book, they give you the pattern, the whole design, and gives you all the knowledge where you start and where, you know, from what, and what material you must use. And then you take the pattern out of this big sheet. You had like a rolling pin, and then you roll it out, and then, like if you got the pattern, and then you must now know the size of the people's measurements, and then that's how you cut it, and that's how you make it.
What did you?
And they were the best designers, the Germans. Best designers.
What did a typical day look like in your life as a do you call yourself a designer now?
No.
Why not?
Just an ordinary dressmaker. We don't want to be a designer, what we can do, make designer clothes. You know, like that. Because designers, they go out and learn, and they pass the things where they learn. But we never learn, we learn ourselves.
So what's the difference between you that makes this designer clothes and a designer? Why are you not a designer?
No, I'll say this, they learn to sort of make a pattern on their own, not like I took from the book. And then they make a block, like, you see, and then they work from the block. They do different sizes and different designs and all that. But I worked with a book like the Burda book, it's a German book, and they give you all the info, and then you do go according to them. And lots of people ask me sometimes, where did you get that pattern? I said, I got the pattern at the book, from the book. And they said, which book? Because a lot of people didn't know about it, you see. And then, because the Germans, they were very good. And at the factory that we worked, all the supervisors and the managers and all, they were all Germans. You see, and you could see that they're young, but they know everything. But then I found out about this book. I thought, wait, I'll just check on the book and see how is it, you see. And there you get everything. And the Germans was always first in fashion. So it wasn't here in Cape Town, we didn't have that style yet, and then it's in the book. See, and then you copy them from the book. That's how I learn, you see. But I'm not actually a designer. I have to learn myself and try to help myself and do things on my own. I couldn't tell you that somebody taught me. Nobody taught me. I just copied from the factory, working on the machine and looking how they cut it out, the patterns and all that. And so you understand what is now a sleeve, and you know what is the back of the pattern, what is the front, and how do you start and make a dart and all that, you see. Those things are all copied. And I think most of the people at that time, they used to copy. But so only seldom you could get girls that could go learn properly by a designer, you know.
What was it like working in that other factory with a white designer? Did you have good relationships with each other?
Oh, we had very good relationships. And especially the Germans, they're very nice. And this one girl that was a designer, she used to love me. We had to go out and have coffee and all that, you know. And still up to date, I'm still friends with her, you know. We're old now, but she comes and visits me now and then.
What happened when apartheid happened? Did that make things different or difficult?
I don't think so, man. It was difficult for us because we couldn't get into the top range like colored people couldn't get into designers, like top designers. But then after that, after the apartheid, you had lots of colored people going in, you know, and lots of men with dressmakers. Like I had a friend, he made this guy, he was very good man. And he even made my wedding dress, you see. Because he knew the designs and I didn't even have to tell him what I want. I just said to him, you just make whatever you want, you see. And he made it beautiful. See, so that's how people learn at that time. And people used to work hard, you know, for dresses and weddings and all that. But most of them learned from copying one another, you see.
And Latifa, tell me, what did a typical day look like in your life? What time did you wake up? What time did you go to parade? Did you go to parade every day? How did your day look?
Parade days is only Saturday, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
So you can't go other days because the parade is not open. So you must plan your thing. Look, I'm going to look for this material. Okay, I go on Saturday morning. Because you're not working Saturday, so you've got all the time now to look. And then on the parade you will get this and that. Or you scout around where little shops is where they sell like pieces of material, you know. Because you don't want to buy a lot. Because you're only going to make maybe 2 garments. And I always concentrated on making only 2 garments the same. Because you don't want a whole rail, everybody must look the same. You see, you want something different. Or you take the material for 2 garments and you make 2 different garments of that, you see. That's what you do. Now Wednesdays you used to go early in the morning because Wednesdays is the main day, you see, they get all the beautiful stuff there. And people also always used to ask me, where did you find that? Where did you buy that? Because you used to get family members and dressmakers that never go to the parade because it's like too low for them, like, you know. You know how people is, what? Where did you buy that at the parade? How come you get it? Now at the parade they buy, those people at the stalls, they buy the material from the factories that's overrun, you know, pieces that's over, then they get it for cheap, and so they make their business and there we get it, you see. And then it's the most important fabric that you can get. You don't get it in the shops to buy, but you get it there. You see, now they're wondering, where did you get it? Where? Look how feel the material on your dress. Where did you buy that? Like I had a sister-in-law. She was my husband's brother's wife. She was older than me, and she was a top dressmaker, like, you know. She could look at the movie film and look at the dress, and then she could come home and she would cut that dress just like that in the film, which I couldn't do. But then she never went to the parade because that was too low for her, you see. But when she look at me when we go somewhere and I got something on it, wow, this is beautiful. Where did you get it? On the parade. And you know, she never ever went to the parade. She even died like that. You know, that's how people are. No, they like, no, that's not my style, you see. I don't go there, it's too cheap like. But I love the cheap things. Because we were poor and we had to go for the cheap things. We didn't have lots of money to go buy expensive stuff. Like today, when I look at the children and I look at the dresses they got on and I think, you know, how much did you pay for that? 1,000 rand, and I think to myself, damn it, I got the same material like that. We could have made it for not even half, quarter of the price. You go buy it. Because the children got money now, they just go in the shop and they buy it. They don't care what it costs, you know. But now that's brought up in that way, you still got it in you. You still got it inside you. You can't get it out of you. You can't go into the shop and just buy a dress of 1,000 rand. Oh no. You change your mind this day. No, it's not necessary. I can do it for much cheaper. I can get more or less the same material, and so scout around where we can get it. And up till today, you know, I've got such a lot of materials. From buying, thinking, okay, if a customer comes, then I've got this and I've got that I want to get rid of it today.
I'm gonna buy it from you.
You can come buy anytime. Because I always think, you know, when you're young, you just buy and you like this and you like that, you just buy. You don't think that you're going to get older. You don't think that you are going to die one of these days. But now when you get older, now you think different. No, I must get rid of these things. You see, I'm going to die one of these days. What's going to happen to this stuff? Got to get rid of it. And as soon as you get rid of it, then you're rid of everything. Then you feel happy. You see, because now you haven't got. But if you're young, you don't think that way. Like when I was young, I used to just buy this. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that, and I buy it. Now I realize, where am I going with all this stuff? It's not necessary. And the children doesn't want it because they want now the fashion now of nowadays. But then you get the children that like the old things. Then they say, where did you get this? Like I got one granddaughter that I gave her a dress of mine. I think it's about 40 years ago that I had this dress. And you know, she went actually crazy for this dress. And she had it on, and she's married now. And her mother-in-law asked her, where did you get this dress? So I said, Mama gave it to me. Mama gave it to you? It's right in the fashion now. And it was that time fashionable. And she looked so beautiful. Everybody was just looking at this dress. And now she tells me, Mama, I'm never going to get rid of the dress. I'm going to keep it forever and forever. See, that's, now you get the child again. Oh, no, I don't want that. That's not for me, you know.
Auntie Nativa, this is my last question. Because we're losing the light.
I also asked her about the shop.
The shop?
Yeah, the shop.
Okay.
Can we just change the angle quickly?
Can you make it closer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
go
stop
closer.